My name is Philip Craig. I'm from Portadown, and something about me would be probably quite interesting is a lot of people. I'm assistant pastor at Celebration Church and also a DJ and also a teacher. The favorite thing about 316 is probably the fact that it's so well organised, it's done with excellence, and there's also an enjoyable but a competitive spirit around it, and obviously the message that it brings as well. I became a Christian probably around the age of 16. This had a massive impact in my life. It was funny, it actually came about when I was going through probably a little bit of heartache and relationship pain. And I didn't know where else to look, and I'd heard this message of Jesus and dying for us to bring a new life and to give us life. And I suppose when I went through that heartache, it gave me an opportunity to turn and test and see if this thing was real. And it came back, and it wasn't void. It came back full, and God spoke to me and comforted me in that time. But it done more than that. It set me up in a relationship where I committed to Christ and gave it all to Him. Who is Jesus to me? I suppose over time I've obviously learned about the Bible, and I heard many great preachers who have taught me and given me good understanding of who Jesus is. But I suppose Jesus wasn't just this word on a page. It actually started to become real to me. It wasn't this distant, detached process of submitting yourself to a church, but it was something that came from the inside with me, and I started to actually experience God on the inside, and as I started to put Him first in my life, and what He was telling me to do and follow His lead, God just brought life on the inside, and that seemed to overflow. And I'm still learning. I'm certainly not perfect, but I'm just so excited about what God has in store for not just me, but other people around me, and how, when Jesus is put into any equation, He always brings truth, and He always brings a light in places of darkness. So I'm excited about what God's going to do in our land here in Northern Ireland. The one thing I love about the story of Jesus, when Jesus came, one of the things that I read so clearly is that He was actually criticised by a lot of religious people, or people who maybe focused on how to live life, and the do's and the don'ts, and never making mistakes, and it made people feel that they weren't good enough, and nearly put a barrier in the way between them and God in a relationship. And what Jesus seemed to do, as I read the Bible, is He seemed to take away the barriers. He seemed to accept people. One thing that I love, and I would encourage people who are watching this, and maybe you're not a believer, or don't wait until you behave right, until you believe. God wants to let us all know that we're accepted, and that's the whole point of Him dying on the cross, is to forgive us for this problem we all have on the inside, which is sin. And Jesus came to build a bridge and not a barrier. And so that's one thing that excites me about the gospel, is that it's not about performance. It's not about how good you are or how bad you've been. You can't be bad enough for God not to want you or love you. So 316.